Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder and CEO of Motoroso.com, your dedicated auto parts marketplace. And today we're in the studio to continue our Gen 2 Raptor bolt-on build series. Our bumpers came in, and this is part one of a two-part installation guide series to show you how to install that front bumper on your Raptor. Now, we made a separate video about the Fab Fours Vengeance front bumper with all the details and specifications, and we'll put a link to that in the description, so make sure you check that out. If you find this install video helpful, give it a thumbs up, please, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing tons more builds, bunch more modifications on this Raptor, and our 2020 C8 Corvette build is coming soon, so we can't wait to share all of that with you. And we couldn't be doing any of this without you guys, so thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Now remember, the parts that we install here, you can purchase them at Motoroso.com, where you can browse over 1 million top name brand products sold by trusted vendors at great prices, and the shipping is always free with no minimum. Let's get started. Now, we opted for the Fab Fours Vengeance front bumper, and like I said, we made another video about the product itself. That link is in the description. But this thing has the pre-runner bar, so it is going to interfere a little bit with the front-facing camera, but we're going to show you how little that affects that. It's not that big of a deal. Now, your steps to install this: first, we're going to take off the skid plate, unmount the front bumper. There's not going to be much to transfer over, if anything. And we'll mount up the new bumper, and in this particular case, we have the adaptive cruise control, so we had to buy the optional adaptive cruise control relocation bracket. We'll show you how that goes in as well. It's all pretty straightforward. You can do all this in your driveway with a basic set of tools. Let's dig in.
Tools you'll need for this job will include a ratchet with 10, 11, 13, 15, 18, and 21 millimeter sockets, as well as an E6 reverse torx socket. You'll need a panel puller or flathead screwdriver, a Dremel tool, a drill, and a few drill bits. Remove the skid plate starting at the back with the two 15 millimeter bolts holding in the rear spacer brace, followed by the four 13 millimeter bolts holding up the front half of the skid plate, and remove the skid plate. Drill out the rivets holding the license plate mounting bracket onto the bumper and remove the bracket. Pry the center bumper insert out using a panel puller tool. With the bumper grille cover off, use a reverse torx E6 socket to remove the adaptive cruise control unit, making sure to unplug it from the wiring harness. Remove the 6 21mm main nuts that hold the bumper onto the frame, with 4 on the front and 2 on the rear. On the OEM bumper, there's also 2 outside support brackets held on with 2 10mm bolts. If you don't remove them, the bumper won't come off. Once those are out, get that bumper out of there. If your truck has adaptive cruise control, you're going to need to install the adaptive cruise control relocation bracket. So this is where the fun begins. You're going to need to remove the front grille. Start by removing the 10 pop clips. Remove the rubber radiator cover and undo the 3 connectors found at the hood hook. Remove the 4 10mm upper mounting bolts for the grille. Remove the headlight bezel starting with the top pop clip, then pulling the plastic bezel straight away from the chassis. Remove the 7 pop clips holding the grille to the dust shield. Undo the 2 lower 10mm mounting bolts and remove the grille. With the grille removed, lay it on a flat, protected surface and remove 3 10mm retaining nuts on the Christmas tree clips, and loosen the 4 10mm studs on the outer edge. Also remove the 4 pop clips found on the bottom of the grille. Oh, and don't forget that stupid 8mm bolt that Ford put in the center of the grille assembly. With that 8mm out, you can separate the grille from the shroud. Make sure to remove the wiring harness from the chassis, otherwise it won't be possible to plug into the adaptive cruise control unit once it's been relocated. Measure out 7/8 of an inch away from the center of the shroud and place the relocation bracket on the shroud, making sure it's aligned with the edge of the shroud, and mark your holes. Drill out the mounting holes with a smaller bit at first, making pilot holes for the larger drill bit. Install the adaptive cruise control unit onto the relocation bracket using the reverse torx E6 socket for the upper stud and an 11mm for the supplied nuts. Mount the relocation bracket using the supplied 11mm nut and bolt from Fab Fours. With the bracket mounted on the shroud, we drilled a small hole in line with the bracket so that we could slide the wiring harness in there, and we cracked the plastic so we could slide the harness through. Using a Dremel is the easiest way to trim back the plastic to make sure that the cruise control unit can sit without interruption from the grille. Reinstall the shroud to the grille by reinstalling the 4 outer studs, center 8mm bolt, and the 4 pop clips. Reinstall the wiring harness before installing the grille onto the truck. With the harness in place and all connected, hang the grille back into position. Align the grille in position and reinstall the lower 10mm bolts. Reconnect the 3 electric connectors at the top of the grille and reinstall the 4 10mm upper mounting bolts. Reinstall the upper rubber cover with the 10 push clips. Reinstall the headlight bezel covers by pressing them back into the clipping points, starting from the bottom. Now that the relocation of the adaptive cruise control unit is done, begin installing the bumper. If you don't have any friends or anyone to help you, you can put the bumper on something that can be adjusted like a stool, like I used. Once in place, you can use the provided 19mm bolts and washers to mount and tighten down the bumper. With the bolts semi-tightened, you can slide and move the bumper around to make sure that it's aligned perfectly before tightening it down fully. Reinstall the skid plate, starting with the 4 13mm bolts at the front, with the front of the skid plate secure in position. Put the rear spacer bracket into position and tighten the 2 15mm bolts. If you want to see how to install the light bars that we used, check out our separate installation video, which we'll link to in the description. Congratulations on installing your new Fab Fours Vengeance bumper.
All right, that wraps up our installation guide video for the Fab Fours Vengeance front bumper on our 2019 Raptor Bolt-on build project. As you can see, I had to make a change of clothes because we had to split this shoot over the course of 2 days, but that's not because this takes a long time. This actually only took us about 3 to 4 hours. It'll take you about 3 without having to shoot all the video of it. And as you can see, the adaptive cruise control bracket relocation was the most time-consuming part of that entire project. So if you're not doing adaptive cruise control and you aren't doing lighting, the bumper will probably only take you about a half an hour, because that was literally 6 bolts. Wiring up the lighting and mounting those probably took another hour in total. So anyways, hope you found the video really helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Of course, all of the products we've installed here are available for purchase on Motoroso.com, and we've got the links to those in the description. Now, if you want to see more about the Radiance Rigid Industries lights, we got a separate video for those too. We'll put the link to that in the description. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we got lots more mods coming on this Raptor build, as well as all of our other build projects, including our 2020 C8 Corvette build project. We hope you enjoyed the video. We can't do any of this without you guys. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching.